The truth, most people build 90% of their wealth after 40. Let me ask you something. Do you know what percentage of your lifetime wealth you'll likely earn after you turn 40? Most people guess around 50%. Some say 40%. Some assume it's even less. But those guesses miss the mark. According to Brian Featherstone-Hove, the CEO of OGB Interactive, this question wasn't just a random curiosity. He studied it, he ran a survey, he interviewed 500 people from different industries, reviewed their financial outcomes, and reached a conclusion that shocks most listeners. For the majority of people, 85% to 90% of their lifetime income is earned after the age of 40. If you're hearing that and thinking, that can't be right, you're not alone. Because the common belief is that your golden years for making money are between 20 and 40. After 40, we assume energy drops, health declines, and earning power fades. But Brian pointed out the flaw in that logic. Wealth doesn't grow like a straight line, it grows like a harvest. It follows a simple rule: you plant first and you collect later. Think about farmers. They don't walk into a field and demand crops the next morning. They spend months, sometimes years, preparing soil, planting seeds, watering, fertilizing, and enduring long stretches where nothing seems to happen. And then, in the right season, the harvest comes. Wealth is the same way. It often takes years of building skills, credibility, experience, relationships, and judgment, until one day things begin to compound. What looked like slow progress suddenly becomes a breakthrough. So if you're young right now and you're struggling, or you're grinding hard just to survive, don't panic. Don't get discouraged. Get rich quick. Stories sound exciting, but they're usually luck for a tiny minority. For most of us, wealth is built step by step through consistent effort over time. If you build a strong foundation before 40, your wealth can grow steadily, then expand rapidly after 40. As Brian said, what you accumulate before 40 largely determines how abundant your life becomes after 40. Trust the power of time. Let your effort today plant hope for tomorrow. And before we go deeper, don't forget to follow this channel if you want more truths about money and a faster path toward financial freedom. Now, if we're going to talk about building wealth, we need to understand one basic economic principle. A person's income is directly proportional to the development of their abilities. The American wealth researcher Thomas Stanley, known for studying how millionaires actually live and earn, shared a similar idea: your income can only rise as much as your capabilities rise. In other words, your wealth level is largely tied to your personal capacity. If you don't grow, your income will struggle to grow. If you keep upgrading your ability, your income can naturally rise with it. Here's a simple metaphor. Your ability is like the size of a container. Money is like water. If the container is small, it doesn't matter how much water you pour in. There's a limit to what it can hold. Only when you expand the container can you hold more. That's why for anyone who wants real wealth, developing ability isn't optional. It's the required path. You have to keep learning, keep improving, keep sharpening your skills and your understanding. As the old saying goes, even a 1,000-mile journey begins with a single step. Only by taking steady steps do you build the runway for future takeoff. And one of the clearest examples of this is Hayao Miyazaki, often called the father of Japanese animation. His life is proof of what long-term skill building looks like. At 22, he graduated and entered the animation industry at the very bottom, doing basic sketch work for low pay. Many of his coworkers complained about the workload and the limited income. Some jumped jobs, others left the industry entirely. But Miyazaki didn't chase quick results. He stayed. Instead of quitting, he poured everything into his craft. He worked late nights, he refined his drawing, he studied every part of the animation process. And he kept doing that for 16 years. Over time, he grew from a sketch artist into an animation designer, then into a story lead, deeply understanding each stage of production. Because of that long accumulation, his capability became undeniable. He earned recognition in the industry. At 38, Miyazaki stepped into directing. He brought all his experience into every detail, pushing his work toward perfection. 5 years later, He released a breakthrough film that exploded in success commercially and internationally. Then came more classics, films that became timeless in the hearts of audiences. But none of it was sudden. It was the harvest of years of quiet, relentless cultivation. And that's the part most people don't see. They look at someone's success and call it fast. But behind fast, there are usually years of effort beyond what the average person could imagine. That's why real wealth isn't built on shortcuts. It's built on foundation. The entrepreneur Robert Kiyosaki once said something like this: if you're trying to build wealth, don't try to build an Empire State Building on a foundation the size of a fingernail. If you don't have ability as your base, even if you get lucky and make money, you often can't keep it. Only when you truly have skill and create real value does money begin to flow towards you in a stable way. So if you're in your 20s or 30s, chasing your goals, the most important mission before 40 is this: sharpen your ability until it becomes undeniable. Don't rely on luck. Don't depend on temporary hype. Calm down, learn deeply, and become excellent in your field. A top-level programmer, a brilliant designer, a powerful manager. Their value becomes obvious because their ability becomes rare. And when your ability is strong enough and the value you create is big enough, money naturally follows. Remember, wealth never appears out of nowhere. It is payment for the value and capability you bring. Before 40, work hard. Become exceptional. Use sweat to strengthen your skill. Use discipline to build your foundation. If you keep upgrading yourself, your dreams and your wealth will eventually find you. But on the road to wealth, there's another mistake people make. They focus too much on external resources and technical skills and forget the most important asset, their mind. In reality, a person's knowledge and awareness largely determine their level of prosperity. As Henry Ford famously said in Spirit, true poverty isn't a lack of money, it's a lack of knowledge. A person without knowledge is like someone trapped at the bottom of a well. Their vision is narrow. Their thinking becomes rigid. Even if opportunity is right in front of them, they can't see it. Even if wealth is within reach, they can't hold it. It's like a blind man holding a treasure map. He has it, but he can't read the secrets inside. On the other hand, a person with broad knowledge and a strong worldview is like someone standing on top of a mountain. Their view is wide, their thinking is sharp, they can see patterns. They can sense opportunity early and act decisively when it arrives. The French writer Molière once said that knowledge is the key that opens every treasure. Only when you accumulate enough knowledge do you develop the ability to smell money and create wealth. That's why the smartest investment before 40 is investing in your mind. Read, learn, expand your worldview. Knowledge becomes your strongest weapon. Awareness becomes the lamp that guides you forward. And if you want a modern example, look at Elon Musk, a man many call the Iron Man of Silicon Valley. Behind the companies, the innovation, and the massive wealth is one core advantage: an unusually deep reservoir of knowledge and an unusually sharp way of thinking. From a young age, Musk devoured books, spending hours in bookstores, moving from science fiction to encyclopedias, from physics to engineering. He read widely and constantly built his mental system. After he became an entrepreneur, that habit didn't fade, it intensified. He consumed industry journals, studied advanced research, and learned directly from top scientists and engineers. And he didn't just study rockets or batteries or AI. He learned economics, sociology, philosophy. That cross-disciplinary learning gave him a broader view of the world and unusual angles in business decisions. And with that knowledge and that mental sharpness, he built success across multiple fields: technology, energy, aerospace, and transportation, creating billion-dollar companies before and around the age of 40. His story shows the power of knowledge. But learning isn't something you finish in a day or two. It requires long-term effort. Someone once said, maintain your ability to learn. Think of yourself like software. Today's version must be better than yesterday's, and tomorrow's version must be better than today's. Only by constantly learning and collecting knowledge Can you keep up with the times and catch wealth opportunities as they appear? In the end, wealth is often a reward for insight. Income depends heavily on what's inside your head, your knowledge, your judgment, your perspective. That's why top scientists, engineers, and elite managers often earn more. They produce greater value through intellect. So if you're young and you want wealth, the secret is not magic. It's learning how to invest in your mind. Read more books, learn new things, build depth and breadth. Let knowledge equip your brain. Let wisdom guide your life. When your awareness reaches a higher level, your viewpoint changes. Your problem-solving changes. The issues that once stressed you become manageable. Opportunities that once felt distant begin to feel reachable. And there's one more piece that many people overlook. To create sustainable wealth, you eventually have to expand your vision. From only thinking about yourself to caring about others, from only chasing personal benefit to building shared prosperity. This shift requires inner growth. Learn to think from another person's perspective. When dealing with li means benefit, learn to compromise reasonably. Give others room. When people struggle, offer support and encouragement. At first, it may look like you're losing, but over time, you gain something far more valuable. Trust, respect, reputation, relationships. And those invisible assets become the real foundation of long-term wealth. There's an old idea that says kindness has wide-reaching benefits. Goodwill is one of the most precious assets you can build. A generous mindset is a higher level of living. When you treat the world with sincerity and hold people with a larger vision, your path to wealth becomes more stable. Because what you earn isn't only money, but trust, brand, and connection. Now, speaking of long-term wealth, we can't ignore Warren Buffett, a legend in investing. Buffett became a model for millions because of his skill and immense fortune. But what's surprising is how simple his strategy is. So why do so few people replicate his success? Buffett gave a brutally honest answer. Because very few people want to get rich slowly. In a world addicted to fast success, where overnight millionaire stories get more attention than real work, almost no one has the patience to build wealth step by step. But Buffett reminds us, the pyramid of wealth has never been built in a single day. It requires time, discipline, patience. True wealth is rarely a lucky moment. It's usually the outcome of years of accumulation. Buffett never denied talent matters, but he believed something matters even more: the attitude of long-term persistence. That mindset took him from an ordinary beginning to building a massive investment empire. He often implied that his achievements weren't from one genius idea, but from decades of consistent effort. Success is never random. Behind it is sweat and dedication people don't see. Buffett's story teaches us to stay calm, quietly increase our value, and let time do its work. Like seeds in the soil. Only when they root deeply can they grow into tall trees and bear sweet fruit. So in your 20s and 30s, the mission is clear. Use the years before 40 to improve yourself comprehensively. Skills, knowledge, mindset, and life experience. Keep adding strength to yourself, and you'll be ready for challenges ahead. As the American writer O. Henry once said in spirit, your life shouldn't be arranged by others. You should fight for it yourself. Whether the outcome is joy or pain, you won't regret living fully. When you understand that, you stop living carelessly. You start building a powerful inner force. And finally, you must accept this. Building wealth is not easy, and it's rarely fast. It demands time, it demands patience, it demands the strength to persist. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither are great careers or great fortunes. You have to wait until the foundation is thick enough, and then one day you break through. People say, don't rush. The best things appear at the most unexpected time. That's true. The quiet years, the years where it seems like nothing is happening, are often your most valuable accumulation. As long as you keep moving, step by step, no matter how far the road feels, one day you will reach the shore of your dream. Now, do you remember that research result? That most people earn 85% to 90% of their lifetime wealth after 40. That number gives us a powerful clue. What you build before 40 largely determines your abundance later. Every effort you make in your youth is a seed planted for your future harvest. Every drop of sweat today becomes growth inside the flow of time, slowly rising into a tree that can shelter you from storms. Trust time. Trust accumulation. Don't obsess over short-term wins and losses. Don't let temporary failures break your spirit. If you stay steady, calm, and committed to your path, one day you will reach wealth and you will bring your dream into reality. Like that famous line from Forrest Gump, "Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But if you keep walking with courage and persistence, you will eventually find the sweetest piece." So when we talk about building wealth before 40, the conclusion is simple. Your effort and preparation during this stage decide a great deal about your later prosperity. That 85–90% earned up after 40 isn't luck. It's the natural result of the work done before. The people who become wealthy usually didn't start wealthy. They trained their ability, sharpened their skills, invested in intelligence, read constantly, expanded their worldview, built character, built trust, built respect, one choice at a time. These lessons sound simple, but they often take a lifetime to truly live. Because wealth doesn't arrive instantly, it requires long accumulation. Real success isn't about how much you gain in a moment. It's whether you can keep your passion alive and stay committed to your dream. When you are young, you may not have much money, but you do have time and opportunity. If you use that time to build, improve, and refine yourself, you will create your own sky. Wealth isn't a fantasy. It's a reward for those who refuse to stop. So starting today, keep your faith, accumulate steadily, build your foundation, prepare well. Believe that what you invest will return as fruit. Every drop of sweat before 40 is a seed for the future harvest. And when time finally shines its light, you'll realize those old efforts have turned into today's results, and the dreams you once held quietly have bloomed into real life. I truly hope you and I both become the owner of our own lives, and through non-stop effort, we earn the wealth that belongs to us.